The moment Marcus Hale stepped into classroom 7 on Kepler Station Academy, he understood something had gone terribly wrong. The room fell silent. Dozens of alien students turned toward him at once, their reactions as varied as their species. Translucent winged Etherians hovered slightly above their seats, their wings fluttering with nervous energy. Crystal-bodied Foryari shifted their massive forms, refracting light across the walls. At the far edges of the room, the Voidborn watched without blinking, their dark eyes reflecting nothing, and somehow everything. Marcus adjusted the strap of his satchel and swallowed. 6 months earlier, the Galactic Educational Exchange had sounded like the opportunity of a lifetime. A chance for a human student to study among the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. A chance to represent Earth. Now, standing alone in a classroom filled almost entirely with alien girls, Marcus felt less like an ambassador and more like a curiosity that had wandered into the wrong enclosure. He took an empty seat near the middle row, acutely aware of every whisper, click, chirp, and harmonic vibration bouncing through the air. His universal translator struggled to keep up, spitting out half-formed phrases that sounded suspiciously like laughter. Then the instructor arrived. Professor Vexhari slithered to the center of the room, her serpentine body coiling elegantly around a hovering holographic display. Her voice carried authority, layered with subtle harmonics that commanded attention. "Welcome to Applied Xenobiology," she announced. "Today, we examine adaptation, how life survives in hostile environments." Her gaze shifted to Marcus. "And I trust you will all make our human exchange student feel welcome." Every head turned again. Marcus raised a hand in a small, awkward wave. That was when he felt it. The stare. Not the quick glances or whispered curiosity he'd already grown used to. This was different. Focused. Intense. In the third row sat a voiling girl with silver-lined hair and elongated features, her posture perfectly still. Unlike the others, she didn't look away when their eyes met. She tilted her head slightly, studying him as if he were a puzzle that refused to solve itself. Marcus's skin prickled. As the lecture began, he tried to concentrate, but the sensation didn't fade. That gaze followed him, every movement, every breath, as if she were trying to see past his body and into something deeper. For the first time since leaving Earth, Marcus wondered if humanity truly belonged among the stars. And somewhere across the classroom, an alien girl decided she needed to understand him. "Mr. Hale," Professor Vexhari said suddenly, snapping Marcus back to reality. "Perhaps you can enlighten us. How does your species adapt without biological specialization?" A ripple of amusement moved through the class. Marcus cleared his throat. "Well, humans don't have claws or radiation-resistant skin. We don't live very long compared to most of you. But we adapt by creating tools, by cooperating, by figuring things out together." A crystalline student emitted a low resonance that translated roughly to mockery. "Primitive methods," she said. "Inefficient." Marcus felt his ears burn. Then the voiling girl spoke. "Incorrect." Her voice carried a melodic resonance that silenced the room. She rose gracefully from her seat, her dark eyes never leaving Marcus. "Tool creation is not primitive," she continued. "It represents accelerated adaptation. Humans alter their environment instead of waiting for evolution to alter them." Professor Vexhari's eyes gleamed with interest. "Go on." The girl nodded. "Within a single lifetime, humans developed technologies that allowed them to survive ice ages, planetary disasters, and even reach beyond their atmosphere. That is not weakness. That is extraordinary flexibility." The classroom was silent. Marcus stared at her, stunned. After class, he lingered, packing his things slowly, hoping to avoid attention. He didn't. The voiling girl approached him directly. "Marcus Hale," she said. "My name is Sahira." Up close, she was even more unsettling, and strangely beautiful. Her presence felt heavy, as though centuries of experience rested behind her gaze. Thank you, Marcus said. For earlier. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to, Zahira replied simply. Your species interests me. They walked together through the station corridors, Earth visible through the curved viewport like a distant memory. You humans live such short lives, she said. Yet you change constantly. My people live for centuries, but remain largely the same. How do you endure such urgency? Marcus considered that. We know time is limited. So we try to make it matter. Zahira slowed her steps. You burn intensely, she murmured. Because you burn briefly. From that moment on, the staring never stopped. But now Marcus understood, it wasn't judgment. It was fascination. Over the following weeks, Zahira always found a way to sit beside Marcus. During group assignments, she maneuvered effortlessly into his team. In the dining hall, she appeared with untouched meals, asking endless questions about human traditions, fears, and dreams. Why do humans create art? She asked one evening as they worked late in the study hall. Marcus paused. Because life is confusing. Art helps us share what we feel when words aren't enough. Zahira was quiet for a long time. My people exist in harmony, she said slowly. We rarely feel alone. But we rarely feel anything deeply. Perhaps endurance is not the same as living. Marcus looked at her then, really looked. Behind the alien features, he saw something achingly familiar. Longing. You're living right now, he said. You're curious. You care. That's what life is. Their joint presentation on interspecies symbiosis earned the highest score in the class, but something more important had changed. Zahira stopped staring. Instead, she began smiling. On their final day before break, she handed Marcus a small crystal pendant. It pulsed softly with light. A fragment of my homeworld, she explained. It will glow for approximately 50 of your years. Marcus held it carefully. Why give this to me? Because it burns brightly, Zahira said. Like your species. She hesitated, then added, I was staring because I wanted to understand what hope looked like. Now I know. As Marcus prepared to return to Earth, he stood once more by the station viewport, watching the stars drift past. He had arrived feeling small, fragile, and out of place. He was leaving with something far greater. The exchange program had promised education, but it delivered revelation. Humanity's true strength wasn't technology or adaptability alone, it was the ability to ignite change in others. To remind ancient species what it meant to dream. Zahira watched his shuttle depart, the pendant glowing softly against his chest. Across the galaxy, something had shifted. Not because humans were powerful. But because they reminded the universe how to live.